like this video, please and thank you. Like this video. So today I hadn't been online earlier, but when I checked my email, I had got a message. Which email it was in? First, I gotta find it because I got so many emails. There you go, right there. I had got an email from Simon Guobadia. Okay, and I was like, "What's going on now, Lord? What's going on now?" But then I realized that it was just he was just he was just giving me a little bit of information, the same information that he gave TMZ, and I appreciate that because I like firsthand information. Okay, this was around the same time TMZ updated their post, so apparently. And again, y'all know I had blogged about this a long time ago. I told y'all that Simon Guobadia was dismissing his defamation lawsuit against Porsha Williams. And y'all remember, Simon had filed a defamation lawsuit claiming that Porsha ED post, erectile dysfunction post, targeted him and that he suffered damages because of it. Normally, in a defamation case, you have to prove damages. Simon, apparently, allegedly, all of the above, actually had just signed on to some big deal. I don't know. It must have been worth millions. Okay. And apparently, his advisors told him that it was a waste of money to continue with this defamation lawsuit because he ain't lose no money from anything that Porsha said. So Simon, I guess, was like, we got bigger fish to fry. I'm going to dismiss this defamation lawsuit. Okay. Now, when Simon filed his dismissal, we talked about it. Okay. It's still in my playlist. If you go to my Porsha Williams playlist, we talked about it. He filed it. However, Porsha's attorneys did not want to let it go that fast. No. Porsha's attorneys was like, he been suing us left and right. He kept the divorce going for 3 years. He disputed the prenup and she got to pay them attorney's fees. She got to pay these attorney's fees. She was like, oh, no, I'm not going to let him just dismiss it quietly and go away. No. So Porsha was fighting to have him pay the attorney's fees. Okay. Now, here is where it gets sketchy. It gets good. And a lot of people are getting this wrong because a lot of people are feeling that, Porsha won, Simon lost, blah, 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 whatever happened, yada, yada, yada. That's not what happened. Again, I just told you what happened. Simon dismissed the defamation lawsuit. Porsha did not want to just dismiss it and walk away. She wanted it dismissed and she wanted him on the lam for the attorney's fees. Now that they have gone to court about Porsha's issue, the judge has pretty much ruled, okay, I'm going to dismiss it. I'm not going to force Simon to pay no attorney's fees. But if he brings this lawsuit back, he will have to pay. Okay. And so, it's still open. It's dismissed without prejudice, which means he can bring it back at any time if he feels like it. However, he is not on the lam for Porsha's attorney's fees. She had to pay on her own. Now, the gag is when he filed the lawsuit, Porsha had already filed a motion to dismiss. A judge refused to dismiss the lawsuit, when she requested it because they felt like Simon had a case. They clearly felt like Simon had a case. So Porsha could not get it dismissed. Simon dismissed it of his own free will. And here is the TMZ post right here. Hold on, let me show you TMZ post. And then I'm going to read what Simon wrote. Okay? Because I like firsthand information. So here is what TMZ had wrote. Porsha Williams' battle with ex-Simon over erectile dysfunction ends. Now, I told y'all before Simon had dismissed it several months ago, okay, and why he had dismissed it. And now it's officially dismissed now because the judge has said that, Porsha cannot have the attorney's fees that she was seeking. Now, Hold on. It said, despite the warning from the judge, Simon tells TMZ a dismissal without prejudice means I retain the full right to refile and the same claims against Porsha at a future date. Now, hold on. I'm going to show you the last video that I had showed y'all that I was telling y'all and I read from the documents because y'all know I love reading legal documents. Hold on. Hold on. This is the actual video about the defamation lawsuits right here that I posted several months ago. Like this video, please, and thank you. Like this video. Hold on. Here it is right here. You see that Porsha's ex moved on, $1 billion deal. Okay, the title of this was
And
Porsha versus her ex Simon Guobadia dismisses lawsuit after $1 billion deal. This was 2 months ago, okay? And so this was when he decided to dismiss the lawsuit, and there is where he had just signed on to that that deal to deliver oil in Lagos, okay? And all of the above. Now, I told you the reason why it wasn't immediately dismissed is because Porsha continued the lawsuit in order to get paid attorney's fees. Now the judge has decided that it's going to be dismissed, but they didn't award her attorney's fees. Now, this is direct from Simon. Okay, this is direct from Simon. You said she got a $7 million house. No, she didn't. She got to live in a $7 million house. She got to live in a $7 million house. And you said, and she got more income. How did she get more income? And Simon hasn't paid a dime. You will see on the first episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta when the producers asked Porsha, is this your house? And she said, I hope so. I'm paying all the bills. Okay. Now, mark my words. That was said in the first episode. Okay. So, hold on. I'm not finished. Let me read this. Listen, I like to bring y'all facts. I know y'all don't be believing me, but I do like to bring y'all facts. And some of y'all don't like the facts. Some of y'all like to live in y'all's delusions. Okay. So Simon Guobadia said, hello, Michelle. Following up on the coverage of TMZ on my federal case against Porsha Williams, I wanted to make sure you had accurate and complete picture of how this matter concluded. I made the decision earlier this year to voluntarily dismiss the case, which I told y'all about. The court has now ruled, and critically, Porsha Williams' legal team attempts to have the case dismissed with prejudice and to recover attorney's fees were both denied by the judge. This means the dismissal is on my terms without prejudice, and no fees were awarded against me. I walked away from this litigation by choice, not by force. I also want to make sure the legal distinction is clear. A dismissal without prejudice means I retain the full legal right to refile the same claims against Porsha at a future date. No court has ruled that my claims were invalid or without merit. Now, the judge also said that if he brings the suit again, he will be on the lam for Porsha's legal fees. That's what the judge said. Now, I don't know. But he also says in his letter, he says this is fundamentally different from what Porsha's legal team was pushing for. Porsha's legal team was pushing for a dismissal with prejudice, which would have permanently barred me from refiling and would have represented a definitive legal victory for her. That request was denied. So was her request for attorney's fees. She did not walk away with the legal vindication her team was seeking. That means Porsha has to pay her own legal fees. He also says, I want to be clear that this matter is far from over. I am currently conferring with my legal team regarding whether to refile the case within the time limit granted by the court. Porsha Williams and her representatives should not mistake my voluntary dismissal for an abandonment of my legal rights or the merits of my claims. Ooh, he said, feel free to reach out if you'd like further details or documentation. Okay, shout out to Simon Guobadia. And y'all know if you want the tea, come to me. What do y'all think about this? I know, listen. It is nothing worse than a divorce. It is two people who are hurt. Simon's hurt, Porsha's hurt, and they both still fighting, okay? Simon apparently didn't get what he wanted out the deal. Porsha got a little bit of what she wanted out the deal. and it's still far from over, according to what Simon Guobadia says. Now, we read the actual divorce documents, okay, and that is in my Porsha Williams playlist as well. And in the divorce documents, it says that Porsha is allowed to stay in the house. Remember, it was for 36 months or something like that. Well, those 36 months end in February of 2027. She got less than a year. She got 11 months. Okay. Now, Porsha sold her house. Okay. Porsha sold her Duluth mansion so that she could keep up with all the bills. After Simon turned off all the utilities, took all the utilities out of his name, refused to pay anything, lawn care, taxes, anything. Porsha is paying everything. She's paying the mortgage. She's paying the insurance. She's paying the taxes. She's paying the HOA. She's paying the gas bill, the light bill. Gas bill in a 10,000 square foot home. Light bill in a 10,000 square foot home. Porsha, what is you doing? It's just you. I don't understand, but if that's what she wants and that's how she feels she needs to be on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, so be it. So Porsha's gonna make every effort this season to use that house as a secondary prop on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Just watch the first episode, because the first episode is all about Porsha and that house. You said Porsha didn't really get anything but bills. Okay. Porsha got debt. Porsha got debt. How can you sell your asset to pay for somebody else's asset? You don't even know if you're going to get the asset in the end. You just banking on hoping and praying that something happens miraculously, that you pull out of this with a deed to the house. Okay. Meanwhile, it's all kind of liens on it. Her attorney's fees liens, for the divorce liens are on there. Randy Kessler's liens are on there. Simon's attorney's liens are on there because the house is still in Simon's name. Any debt that Simon had within the United States since he's been deported, they coming after that house because that is the only asset that he still has in the United States. So I don't know what's good or bad. I don't know what's good or bad. Y'all keep saying Porsha won, and now she got to pay these attorney's fees for this defamation case that Simon had for months. How much you think that's gonna be? Attorney's fees is not cheap. Trust me, I know. I've been paying them this week. But anyway, I'm digressing. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the chat.